praise the Lord, the Heavenly Father, in the name of His Son.
Rawchaa, Qadash.
Wadi Rawchaa for the Holy Spirit, allowing us to come back out here again on the highways and hedges, and once again bid Israel to the marriage, who are so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indian people. Double honors to the apostles and elders at the great millstone of Israel, and double honors to all of the elected elders out here slated to be saved, as well as the entire conglomerate of those slated to be saved from this destruction that's currently coming upon this earth, man. Written to come to America, chiefly to all the wicked and those being slated to be saved from it, according to the Bible, being none other than the Israelites, the elected 1/3 of the Israelites. Alright, the Israelite race, which today is being known by bywords such as Black, African American, Negro, Latino, Hispanic, Native American, Indian, Seminole Indian, West Indian, so-called Afro people scattered abroad, and so-called Black Hebrew Israelites. The men of these people that will have went on and repented and ended up back in their true heritage, this is the true doctrine of the Bible, and started teaching it and living their life according to it in truth and sincerity. And the men, women, and children also these people that will have went on and repented and ended up back in their true heritage as well, living their true life according to their heritage, which is the true doctrine of the Bible.
Back at it again, and it's a constant build, we're building, every time you see, brothers out, worldwide, wherever you may be at, and you see them out, teaching in the truth, the true doctrine, we out here building, we laying ultimately the foundations down, if you will, gathering the materials needed to lay down the foundation. So when we come out here and we teach, we pretty much being used as tools, When we got tools, everybody got different lots, so they all playing with different tools. And these tools that we that we use, we're being used to build something up. So all of those separate tools that you need to when you're going into a job, like when you're thinking of construction, building a house, building a building or something, you're just thinking about all the specific tools you may need. You might need hammers, a saw, you're gonna need screwdrivers, drills, so on and so forth. All these pieces are needed, and that'll be you, basically collectively gathering all you need to build. And when you also do that, before you do that, you also gotta measure. You gotta measure the space of the land.
And if I can say something too, build. I don't know if you said it, but you building what? You building yourself. You see what I'm saying? I got a scripture real quick on that topic. This is First Peter. This is 1 Peter 3 and 5. It says, ye also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house.
So we're likened it to lively stones, which is another that's less of the tools, but that's the material needed to build up this house that we talk about. So we're likening it to lively stones. So again, we are likening it to these pieces. We're likening it to the tools.
But your point was what? Your point was that you build it. And you build it what? Which is my point to back you up. To make this functional to the listeners. Build it yourself. You see what I'm saying? building yourself. You're getting built up, you know? You're not gonna get nothing out of doing. You're not gonna get nothing out of putting it to out of scripture on put it to the Christian blood. You're being likened unto lively stones. You need to understand, like the brother said, we're building. But we're building what? We're building ourselves. We're building, like he said, that house. Who's the house? The house is you. This is First Peter 2 and 5. Ye also as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house. So the point not being we lively stones, the point being like the brother trying to tell you to build it. And you gotta understand the relevancy of why this is being said. You have to understand you're being built up. You gotta understand that's why you're in this, to build yourself up. And you're being built unto what? Like the brother said, a house. I'll read it one more time. This First Peter 2 and 5. Ye also are as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house. You know, and I'll finish with one the rest.
So as lively stones, that's a simile. You know, that means we're looking as it. You know, we're not that, like the brother said, we're building ourselves up. That's why we come out here. We come out here to edify, which also means build each other, ultimately building the nation. And you know, what I was going to the fact we counting the cost of building. You know what I'm saying? So when we come into this thing, we understand that it's ultimately ourselves we build it up. It's not truly a building, because the Lord, He doesn't deal with buildings, you know, made by hands. So that's not the point at all. You know, that's just a metaphor, if you will, for us to look at and be able to liken ourselves into. You know, and again, all these things are needed in order for you to ultimately, for you to ultimately go on and build that house, which will be yourself. And ultimately the whole nation, you know, not just yourself.
Yeah, you building yourself too for what? You're building yourself for the Heavenly Father to dwell in you, man. For that what? For that third temple, you know? Basically, it's to rededicate, the rededication. You know, we found out you gotta, when the Lord don't deal in the building, you know, found that out. Why? Because you're actually the building, as He always said. And then too, you found out you wasn't nothing. Basically, you ran the Lord's building down. Due to what? You not knowing you being discontinued from your heritage. You know, and you conducting yourself certain ways, or you may have getting tattoos. So if you're compared to a building, you're completely defaced. You know, you look like a wall on the subway bus. You know what I'm saying? A subway bus or whatever. So once you realize that and heard all that, that's what a rededication comes back into. This is you starting over and giving yourself back to the Lord, according to what the scripture saying, you get in that house and get built up. You know?
I'm gonna go off that parable the brother just presented, which would be like, you know, that train with the graffiti on it. You know what I'm saying? You know, if they want to rebuild that train to put it back in commission, put it back to its first state, you know, that prestigious state when they first presented it, put it on the lines, it was silver, it was shiny, you know what I'm saying, it was running like brand new. What the first thing they gonna do? You know, they're gonna strip down those things that were on it. So, like the brother said, you graffitied up, you know, they're gonna strip that graffiti off, you know what I'm saying?
Be something as simple as a tattoo.
Exactly.
Now you can't strip the tattoos off, exactly. What? You don't get them anymore. Exactly. You repent for them, and the Lord is He said He'll forget about them. He forgets about them. So if He forget about them, that's basically the equivalent of Him getting rid of them. Right? They're not actually being there no more.
That's what I say. It's like it's like painting over. You know, that graffiti's still on the train, but it's been painted over with something that you can't see it no more.
So what are you painting over with? Repentance. Exactly.
That is time. You know, repentance is you coming back to your forms, ways, the original way, you know, the real way, the right way. You know what I'm saying? And not being that graffiti train. So that train is invested with graffiti. You know, we're trying to build back up the right way because we're looking for the Lord to come dwell within us.
He's not going to dwell in some getting tattoos and covering himself up with madness, to where you can't even see your skin anymore. Here it is. He said, my people look like this. And you can't tell how you look because you see Jacob what? That graffiti, but to make it functional, those tattoos, right? Something as simple as a tattoo. But you got niggas who get face tats, eyelids tatted, nigga lip tatted, nose inside his lip tatted.
And that's a bad representation of the company. You know what I'm saying? Which would be another, you know, if I'm Metro and I got trains going on, it's tatted up with whatever game you might can think of on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm representing at that point. You know, the Lord, again, He's not dealing with that. So that's why when you come into repentance, you're putting all these things off and you're coming back into what it's supposed to be. So
To be what? Rebuilt.
to be rebuilt, being rebuilt back to your glorified state, being put back on that pedestal, you know?
Because really you gotta keep saying rebuilt, just being built. You know what I'm saying? Because really you want to. You thought you was built. Well, I want to get the sleeves, you know, put all playing their whole, you know what I'm saying, layout of what's gonna make them perfect enough. I'm gonna get the sleeves.
Right. Yeah, you're right. No, they have it planned out. Like what you said. Yeah, like I got the sleeve, you know, you're trying to fit into a certain mold, you know what I'm saying? And that mold isn't what accepted by the Lord. So really you're just destroying yourself. Israelites, really, you know what I'm saying? And this is the reason why. Go ahead, brother. You bring that up.
In Deuteronomy 7, verse 6, thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God.
So we are holy people. That means we're supposed to be separated. So we ain't supposed to be walking around looking like the rest of the world. You know what I'm saying? We're not supposed to walk around with tattoos down our arms. We're not supposed to be dressed a certain way. You know, we're supposed to look accordingly to who we are. Keep on reading.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto Himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
See, so we're supposed to be above, and that's a prior state of ourselves, but it's ultimately the future of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? That's where we're heading. You know, that's what we understand. That's the reason why we come out here and we're laying down the foundations to build upon. You know, because this is simply just building the foundation. You know, slowly but surely, more of our nation, you know, you Israelites, you so-called black, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native American Indian people, the more you see this, the more you start to realize and understand who you are. The more you're being told, the more it's being put in front of your face, the more you can recognize and understand that.
We give you the words if I can.
Oh, go ahead, brother.
We give you the words to put this yourself like a block. You see what I'm saying? Because the word is likened unto a block, a stone. You see what I'm saying? The reason why you're comparing it to a stone is you take on the words. You see what I'm saying? You actually, when you learn these words, you actually are confined to these words.
Right.
So you basically become a stone.
Become exactly what was needed to build that building. You know? No, go ahead. It's a million stones out here.
Somebody that describes what is needed to be stable. Words of the Lord.
You got the instruction manual to be one of those selected stones. It's definitely a selection. It's an election. You know, so you got to be elected and selected to actually be one of those stones. And you got the instruction manual on how to do so, what you go about, how you need to dress, what you need to wear, how you need to think, how you need to carry yourself. You know, you get a problem, you got a situation, how do I, you know, act in that point, you know? How do I treat this person? How do I need to go about this? Because it's all about being built up, you know? Being built up to be that stone, you know? And if you think about a stone, you know, going back to when the temple was made, they took stones and they had to be chiseled a certain way before they were even brought to, meaning they had to be shaped in the correct way for them to even be considered in the first place. And that shaping of those stones was based upon the words of the Lord. He said he wanted something specific. You know, Solomon could have just built a temple that was, you know, rainbow colored and had a rounded ceiling just because that's what he wanted. You know, the Lord gave him the instruction. You know, and we got the instruction. We can go through the words right now, and it was specifically told. It was specifically said how this building was supposed to be built. So with us having that understanding of how this building is supposed to be built through the words, that's what we build ourselves. That's how we are supposed to build ourselves up accordingly. You know, that's what we're doing. You can bring that out. Yeah, bring that out.
It's Luke 14, verse 28. For which of you intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost,
Right.
whether he have sufficient to finish it? Least happily after he hath laid the foundation.
That's it. So you gotta sit down and you gotta consider the cost. You know, that'll be AKA you getting the knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Getting the knowledge and understanding, reading the word, you know, getting that first, because that'll be the cost. You know, what is the cost? The cost is the price. You know, so you gotta build up and see what all I need to do and what all pieces I need to be so I can actually build this building. You know, because again, it's not a simple just a building that you're building out of your mind. It comes with instructions how to put it together. You know, so it has to be done in a certain manner. It has to be in a certain way. So you have to sit down, you have to consider these things, consider the cost. And then once you consider the cost, you know where all of your wages are going to go and what you need to do. So when you're buying, you're going to buy exactly what you need. You're not going to be buying what you don't need. And that'll be going into, you know, you getting tattoos. Like, why are you paying to get tattoos on something that shouldn't have tattoos, you know? And you're supposed to be a stone built meant for this building to be built. Go ahead, bro.
Like you said, you know, like some initial he simply said was what? You know, these stones are selected. So you gotta figure out what it is that's gonna make you be selected. It's gonna allow you to be something that the Lord's gonna choose, you know? Anyway, there's a certain way you put it. But this is Isaiah 51 and 1. It says, hearken to me, ye that follow after righteousness. Ye that seek the Lord Yahweh. It's for you, bro. It says, look unto the rock whence ye are hewn. You see that? Look unto the rock whence ye are hewn. So you need to go, like the brother said, you need to sit down and count the cost. You need to see what it is that's going to allow you to be used to be built up as those selected to be the building of the Lord. Turn things what's going to allow you to do that? Well, you got to be one of those stones he's looking for. So what type of eye are you supposed to be? Once again, this Isaiah 51:1. Hearken to me, ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord Yahweh. Look unto the rock. You see, look unto the rock whence ye are hewn, and dig into the hole of the pits which ye are digged. Look unto Abraham, your father, and unto Sarah. So you're supposed to be like Abraham, in order to be selected. Abraham had faith, you know. You're supposed to be like Sarah if you want to be selected as a woman. She had faith, man. You see what I'm saying? She followed Abraham. Sarah was deemed as Abraham. She was like Abraham. You see what I'm saying? So you got the blueprint on how to be qualified as being, how to qualify for even being. Even when you qualify, the Lord still got to choose you. Because it's the qualifications now to be saved, just being in the truth, but that don't mean the Lord is picking you. The main scriptures talked about is those, the Lord, the number one issue, the main scriptures talked about is those that's going to depart from the faith. You see what I'm saying? That's going to have seducing spirits, false brethren come in unaware. You know, hell, Judas sat down and ate with Rawchaa, man. So that's just to qualify. You know, in order for him to qualify, in order for Judas to qualify to receive that power, he had to walk with Rawchaa and hear those words. But that didn't mean he was gonna get them. That's why he went on to, you see what I'm saying? Do what he did. Why? Because ultimately, like Abraham turned them. Abraham would get changed. I finished this Isaiah 51:2. Look unto Abraham your father, and unto Sarah that bare you, for I will call him alone, and bless him, and increase him.
So we call Abraham alone, and bless him and increase him. So it was certain features that were within Abraham that were ideal for you to key into, you know, and be like, you know. Now, as you just said, Abraham was a man of integrity. man of faith. So the Lord looking at those kind of qualities, you know, you don't want a stone that when the rain comes it melts away. You know, Abraham obviously was able to weather those storms. The things that came at him, he had faith in the Lord, so the Lord was able to be like, I can use you to build upon. You know, and that's why he went on and blessed us. That's why he was like, I can put my I can give you my inheritance. You're going to take care of it. You know, you're going to be able to protect that. You're going to be able to uphold the righteousness that I speak of. You know, you're built that way. You know, you're not going to crumble. You're not going to crumble when the floods come through. Go ahead, bro.
Like the bro said, he said, you know, Abraham had integrity. So Abraham obviously wasn't a man as he's taught a good talk. He actually had a good talk about what he talked about. Which ultimately got him selected. Anyway, to back it up, this is Proverbs 20:6. It says, most men will proclaim everyone his own business, but a faithful man who can find. So yeah, it's an easy thing to just say, but it's a whole other thing that actually just said. Talk to sheep actually speak. They still call something. You see what I'm saying? They still looked at the people walking. But sheep, you see what I'm saying? It ain't worth it.
And that's like it's the same with a building. He wasn't cheap at all. And that's a building when you ever look into like architecture, the building of buildings and skyscrapers. And the important thing that you talk about is integrity. And they talk about the materials that are used for that building to be built up, because the integrity of a building is if it can stand and not fall down the next 5 years, next 4 years. It has to be able to stand. And those things don't come, those things that you need to do to build it, they don't come at a cheap price. You know, you can't build a skyscraper with cheap materials, you know? So, again, the talk is cheap, you know? They actually have to stand for something. They actually have to be built that way, you know? Go ahead, bro.
It's Jeremiah, it's like Isaiah 43:1. It's like verse 3. It says, for I am the Lord, Yahweh thy God, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for thee, since thou was precious in my sight. So he wasn't cheap. Exactly. These Israelites aren't cheap.
Right.
You know? And what's cheap? Talk. You see what I'm saying? And what's talk is proclaiming that you got integrity. Sounding like you got it. But actually having it is precious. I was watching Gilbert Arenas, I can't real quick. I was watching Gilbert Arenas interview last night, and he was talking to J-Mac. He trained with all the NBA pros, right? And pretty much the interview was about what it takes to bounce back from injury, how to stay dedicated after you get injured. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to the next guy. Anyway, he said something. He said, real is rare. You see what I'm saying? You got a clothing line called Real is Rare. Yeah, that's true, man. And that's these Israelites. These Israelites are people that actually have integrity. That's real. Those are people that's really real. That's rare. And another word for rare is what? Precious. You see what I'm saying? So these are Israelites that just have talk. Talk this game. You don't really play. Before the game come up, talking all this shit on the mess, in the game, nothing.
And that's beautiful, because I've just been meditating on it. Like the Lord, he only sees real. You know, he doesn't, you know, like his whole existence is reality. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way that he's going to pick a fake stone to be inside his building. So you could be around, you know what I'm saying, building amongst brothers, and you could be not real, you know what I'm saying? But that's a personal goal, really, because the Lord, he's gonna be able to decipher through these things. He's gonna be able to see what's real and what's not. So this whole process that we're talking about being selected, it's a process, and the process is you living. You know, it's your actions, the things you decide to do. You know, so the process of being chosen and being likened into a real stone that's going to be precious enough to be part of this building, that process is going to be very, very meticulous, you know. So you're going to be tried, and you're going to have, you're going to fall, you know what I'm saying? But it's really about being real and standing by what's real and what's important to that. Even if you fall off sometimes, you're not going to have a 50-point game every time. Go ahead, bro.
This is First Peter 1. This is First Peter 3 and 2. It says, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear, whose adorning, that's adorning. You adorn yourself with chaste conversation, right? That's how you look good. Right? See that? It say,
Right, that's how you do it. Church, that's what you put it on.
because once again, after the state, what allows you basically to, all that glitter ain't necessarily gold. So you can basically, to glitter is to just talk a good game.
Right, you can look the part.
But to